So how do you organize and systemize your Amazon or e-commerce business so that you can actually afford to go on holiday without thinking about it every time and stuff like that, and get your right systems in place? If you don't know who I am, my name's Hayden. I recently sold a brand for 6 figures. I'm building another one which I aim to sell for 7 figures, and I also own an Amazon agency called ClickFox. Now let's dive into the video. So going about, I'm walking through a Greek village at the moment, and there's loads of dogs barking, so sorry about that. Going about organising your business, this is how I did it, and this is what worked for me, and this is what we're doing from the ground up on our new business to make sure we get the right systems and operations in place. Now, Amazon's never gonna, you're running an Amazon business is all over the place, so you're never gonna be at a stage where it's fully automated, fully outsourced, because there's always stuff that just pops up. Unless, I would say, you've got UK staff members managing your virtual assistants. Now, talking about virtual assistants, this is the best way to start outsourcing your business on a tight budget in the early days. So how I did it is as followed. I got a load of post-it notes. Now, someone really amazing advised me to do this at the start, and it was absolutely a game changer. I got a load of post-it notes, them yellow post-it notes that you get from Poundland or WH Smith or whatever. I used a couple of hundred of them, and what I did was write down on them post-it notes every single little task that I needed to outsource in my business. That could have just been sourcing, or it could have been admin, it could have been adding purchases to a sheet, whatever it is, right? Even if it takes you 5 to 10 seconds, any task, checking emails, putting emails in the correct inbox folders, for example, any task that requires any time, put them onto post-it notes and stick them on your wall. Now, at the end of it, you may have 100, you may have 150, you may have 200 post-it notes, right? What you do then is you get these post-it notes and you start putting them into sections onto your wall, whether it's admin, sourcing, product development, whatever it is. Put them, checking emails, admin, put them into sections. Once you've got them sections, you've now just identified the key areas that make your business run, right? Now, this is the stage where you then need to figure out, whether it's in your G Drive, whether it's certain softwares that you use, organizational tools to help you better run these parts of the business. You need to start looking at these as parts of your business. If you think of brands like Mars or Cadbury's, or even other brands, they've all got different departments in their business. You'll notice that from their emails that they have, Cadbury's at admin, Cadbury's at sales, etc., etc. And then they have teams to run them sections of your business. Now, obviously in the early days, it's going to be you doing it. So these areas that you've identified, these key performance areas that are running your business behind the scenes, you need to then go ahead with them areas, start figuring out how you can start making them run better with just you doing it. At a later date, when you can afford to, or now, you need to then outsource them areas to virtual assistants to start with, which I recommend on a budget, right? Now, one of the best areas to get out to start with is admin, and then perhaps sourcing, for example, depending on what sort of business you're running. So eventually you get to a stage where every one of them departments, including every single tiny little task that you do, is then outsourced. It's quite a good idea to do this every 3 to 6 months as well, because as you grow in the business, as you develop in the business, maybe do new types of business, you end up adding new tasks, and then eventually get bogged down further and further and further. So you may need to reassess this and add them tasks into the specific areas and assign them to new team members in the future. This is how I did it, and this is a really good way to pinpoint where you're spending your time and how you can outsource that to team members. But to start with, you're going to have to do it yourself. But if you're doing it yourself and you've sectioned it out like this, at least you know what the sections are so that you can start organizing it in a way that is more efficient. I hope that helps. My name's Hayden, as I said. I'm the founder of ClickFox, an Amazon advertising agency. You can contact us in the links below, or contact me directly, whatever. See you soon.